The storm that night didn't feel like weather. It felt like a warning. The rain fell in hard, angry sheets as if the sky itself was trying to drown the truth happening inside that small, broken house at the end of the street. I was driving home late from work when I saw her. A girl running barefoot in the rain. Her clothes were soaked. Her breath was sharp. Her hands were shaking like she was running from a nightmare that refused to stay behind. At first, I didn't recognize her, until the streetlight flickered and revealed her face. It was Alina, the girl I had spoken to only once at a neighbor's gathering. The girl with the frightened eyes. The girl whose stepdad never let her breathe. She ran like the world was collapsing behind her. I slowed the car and lowered the window. Alina, what happened? Her voice broke as she said the words no girl should ever say. Please don't take me back there. He wants to force me into a marriage. Tonight. My chest tightened. Her stepdad, a man who treated her like she was a burden he wanted to get rid of. Her mother, who always stayed silent, choosing him over her own daughter. And now this? Get in, I said. She hesitated, not because she didn't trust me, but because she didn't trust anyone anymore. But when thunder cracked, she flinched and grabbed the door handle. She sat inside, water dripping from her hair, arms crossed around herself like she was trying to protect whatever little dignity she had left. I tried to speak softly. Do you want me to call the police? No, they won't help. He's already arranged everything. I just need to disappear. Disappear. That word hurt more than anything. She wasn't running to live. She was running because nobody ever fought for her. I drove slowly, letting her breathe. But then she whispered something that made my blood boil. He said he'll sell me off to that old landlord if I don't obey. My own stepdad. Like I'm nothing. Her voice cracked at the end. Anger rose inside me. Not at her, but at the monsters who raised her. Alina, you're not going back there, I said firmly. She looked at me with tired, swollen eyes. Why would you help me? You barely know me. I didn't know the answer myself. Maybe it was the fear in her voice. Maybe it was the pain she tried so hard to hide. Or maybe it was because I knew what it felt like to have no one stand beside you. You don't deserve what they're doing to you, I said. And I won't let them force your life for their benefit. Her lips trembled. Not in fear this time. In relief. But the moment she believed she was safe, headlights appeared behind us. A car. Angry. Her stepdad's car. Alina's face went pale. It's him. Thunder roared as I pressed the accelerator. And in that moment I knew this wasn't just about saving her tonight. This was the beginning of something bigger. Something fate wrote with pain and would rewrite with love. Tonight was the night she ran toward me, and I wasn't going to let anyone take her back. Chapter 2. The Girl Who Refused to Break. She didn't speak to me for the first 3 days. Not a word. Not even a glance. She kept her arms crossed, anger burning in her eyes like fire trapped behind glass. Whenever I tried to talk, she looked away, as if even hearing my voice was an insult. And honestly, I didn't blame her. She had been sold, traded like an unwanted object. Her stepfather had signed a paper, taken money, and walked away smiling. And her mother, she didn't even look back. Now she was in a stranger's home, my home, standing in front of me like a storm that refused to calm. I don't belong here. Her voice shook when she finally spoke. I didn't move closer. I didn't raise my voice. I just said softly, You're right. You don't. But you also don't belong with people who hurt you. She stared at me. Her eyes trembled, not from fear, from rage mixed with years of betrayal. She stepped forward, grabbed my collar, and pushed me back. Don't act kind, she hissed. Everyone in my life turned into a monster. Her breath was shaking, her fists trembling. She wasn't threatening me. She was protecting herself. The walls she had built around her heart were tall, broken and bleeding. I could see it, but I didn't touch her. I didn't shout back. I only said, You don't have to trust me today, or tomorrow, but I will never be one of them. For a moment, just a moment, the fire in her eyes flickered, softened. Then she turned her back and whispered, I hate him. I hate my stepdad. I hate my mother. And then, barely audible, and I hate myself for still expecting love from them. Her voice cracked. Her shoulders shook. But she didn't cry. She never cried. She just stood there, a warrior forced to fight alone. And I knew. This marriage wasn't a romance. Not yet. It was two wounded souls, one trying to escape her past, and the other trying to give her a future where she would never be sold again, never abandoned again, never unloved again, and whether she believed it or not, she was finally safe. Chapter 3, the night she finally broke. The storm outside started quietly, just a soft rumble at first, but inside the house, the real storm was already living in her. That night she refused dinner, refused to sit, refused to talk. She stood near the window, arms wrapped tightly around herself. As if holding her own heart together, I walked toward her slowly. "Are you scared of me?" I asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she whispered, "I'm scared of needing anyone again." Those words pierced deeper than any scream. I didn't touch her. She wasn't ready for that. Instead, I stood beside her, close enough to listen, far enough to not feel threatening. Slowly, she began speaking. "When I was 14, my stepdad told me I was a burden." Her voice cracked. But she kept going. "When I turned 17, my mother told me I ruin everything I touch." She laughed softly, but it wasn't a happy laugh. It was the kind someone makes when their heart is bleeding. "And then they sold me, like I was a piece of furniture." She finally looked at me. Her eyes were not angry tonight. Not sharp. Not defensive. They were tired. The kind of tired that comes from fighting battles nobody sees. I said gently, "You were never the burden." "They were." She shook her head. "No, people like you don't understand. You bought me." I didn't defend myself. I didn't try to correct her pain. Instead, I said, "I didn't buy a girl. I saved a life." The thunder outside echoed at the same moment, as if the sky agreed. Her lips trembled. Her breath grew shallow. Then, for the first time, she cried. Silently, fiercely, hands on her face, shoulders shaking like the world was slipping out of her grip. She tried to hide her tears, but I gently said, "You don't have to be strong tonight." And then, so slowly, so hesitantly, she leaned toward me. Not a hug, not closeness, just enough to let her body rest a little, enough to admit she was tired. It lasted 10 seconds, maybe less, but for her, it was the bravest thing she had done in years. When she stepped back, she whispered, "Don't think this means I trust you." I smiled softly. "Good. Real trust shouldn't happen in one night." She didn't smile back, but she didn't walk away either. And in that quiet, broken moment, I realized she wasn't fighting me anymore. She was fighting herself. And finally, slowly, she was letting herself heal. Chapter 4, the walls she built, and the ones she let fall. The next morning was quiet, not peaceful, just quiet in a way that felt fragile, like the house itself was afraid to breathe too loudly. She walked into the kitchen slowly, eyes half tired, hair messy from a night of crying she'd never admit to. She didn't look at me, but she also didn't avoid me. That, for her, was progress. I placed a cup of tea on the table in front of her. She stared at it for a long moment, then whispered, "Why are you doing this?" I sat down opposite her. "Because someone should have done it years ago," I said softly. She swallowed hard, her throat tightening. "You don't owe me anything." I shook my head. "No, but I want to give you everything they never did." Her eyes flickered with something. Hurt. Fear? Hope? She pushed the cup away gently. "Don't be kind to me. I don't know how to accept it." Her words weren't angry. They were scared, as if kindness itself was a dangerous thing. I leaned back. "You don't have to accept anything today," I said. "Just sit. That's enough." She looked away, but her fingers slowly, uncertainly, pulled the cup back toward her. She took one sip, just one, but her hands trembled as if she were drinking memories instead of tea. After a long silence, she whispered, "Do you know what hurts the most?" I didn't speak. I waited. That they never even pretended to love me. My chest tightened. She continued, voice barely holding itself together. "Even if they lied. Even if it was fake. I just wanted to hear 'I'm proud of you' once." Her voice broke at the last word. She kept staring at her reflection in the tea, as if trying to see what was so unlovable about herself. I said quietly, "You are not responsible for the love they failed to give." A single tear escaped her eye. She wiped it aggressively, almost angrily. "Stop it. If you keep talking like that, I'll start believing you." And for the first time, I saw it. A crack in her armor. A small one. Barely visible, but real. She wasn't breaking anymore. She was opening. Later that night, she walked past me in the hallway. For the first time, she paused and spoke without looking at me. Good night. It was small, soft, barely audible. But from her, it was everything. I smiled to myself as she went to her room. Because tonight, she didn't slam the door. She just closed it gently, like someone finally learning what gentleness feels like. And I knew a new chapter had begun inside her heart, even if she didn't see it yet. Chapter 5. The moment she finally broke. That evening, the house was quiet again. Not cold, not harsh, just quiet in a way that meant something was coming. She was sitting on the living room floor with her knees pulled to her chest, staring at the window like she was waiting for the night to speak first. I walked in slowly, not wanting to disturb her thoughts. But she spoke before I could. "Why do you keep trying with me?" Her voice wasn't angry this time. It wasn't distant. It was tired, exhausted in a way only someone who has survived too much could be. I sat down on the couch, not too close, not too far. "Because," I said softly, "every time you look away, I see the part of you that's still afraid to ask for help." She swallowed hard. "I don't deserve this." "Yes," I replied. "You do, more than anyone." Her eyes finally lifted. And for the first time in weeks, she didn't look at me with hate, fear, or anger. She looked at me like a person about to drown, who finally sees a hand reaching out. A few minutes passed before she whispered, "He used to lock me outside at night." My heart clenched. She hugged her knees tighter, not because I did something wrong, but because he enjoyed watching me shiver. Her voice got softer. "My mother knew." She watched. She didn't stop him. Her words cracked like thin glass. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't wipe them this time. She kept talking, as if letting the truth out meant freeing herself piece by piece. "I used to pray for one night of peace, just one night where I could sleep without fear. I couldn't speak. If I opened my mouth right now, I knew my voice would shake. So I leaned forward slowly, carefully, and set a blanket over her shoulders. She looked at the blanket, then at me, and suddenly, she broke. Her breath hitched. Her hands trembled. Tears streamed down as if years of pain finally found a way out. She covered her face and sobbed. Not silently, not gently, but in the raw, shaking way of someone who had swallowed every scream for years. I didn't touch her. I just sat beside her and let her cry. Because sometimes, healing begins with someone simply not walking away. After minutes of crying, she whispered through tears, "Why are you being kind to me?" I finally answered, "Because you deserve a life where someone protects you, not sells you." She stared at me, as if those words hit a place inside her she didn't know still existed. For the first time, she reached out, not fully, not confidently, but her fingers brushed the back of my hand. A silent, "Thank you." A silent, "Don't leave." And I didn't move. Because this tiny touch was bigger than any promise. It was the first time she chose trust over fear, and I knew she wasn't healing because of me. She was healing because for the first time, she felt safe enough to try. Chapter 6. The night she finally slept without fear. The night was colder than usual. A soft wind moved through the curtains, carrying the kind of silence that feels like it's holding its breath. She was on the couch, wrapped in the blanket I had given her, her eyes swollen from crying earlier, but something in her face had changed. Not confidence, not comfort, but softness, a small, fragile softness that hadn't been there since the day she arrived. I placed a warm cup of milk on the table beside her. She didn't speak immediately. She stared at the cup, then at me, slow, hesitant, careful. "You don't have to keep doing this," she whispered. "I know," I replied gently. She looked down, fingers tightening around the blanket. And then she asked the question she had been afraid to ask for months. "Will you ever sell me?" "Like he did?" My breath stopped for a moment. Not from shock, but from the weight of the pain hiding behind that question. I sat beside her, just close enough for her to feel my presence without feeling trapped. "No," I said softly. "Not now. Not ever." Her eyes glistened again, but she didn't cry. Not this time. This was something else. The beginning of trust. She took the warm cup with both hands. Her fingers brushed mine accidentally, but she didn't pull away this time. She sipped slowly, staring at the steam rising upward. "I never slept without fear," she murmured. "Every night I thought he'd come in, or she'd yell, or someone would drag me somewhere." Her voice trembled. I leaned back on the couch, giving her space. "You're safe here," I said. She looked at me. Really looked at me for the first time. Her eyes didn't look like a battlefield. "Can I sleep here tonight?" She immediately tried to explain. "Not with you. Not like that. Just in this room, where I can see you, where I know nothing will happen." My heart softened. "Of course." I got up to bring an extra pillow, but she suddenly grabbed my wrist. "Not tight, not fearful. Just needing." "Don't leave," she whispered. I sat back down. She placed the pillow beside her, curled up and closed her eyes. A few minutes passed. Her breathing was uneven at first, shaky, restless, like someone trying to unlearn years of fear. But then, slowly, her breathing softened, her shoulders relaxed, her fingers unclenched, and for the first time since she entered my house, she fell asleep peacefully. No nightmares, no trembling, no sudden jerks. Just sleep. I watched her quietly, and something inside me tightened. A mix of protectiveness, sadness, and a strange warmth I couldn't explain. This girl who fought me for weeks, who pushed, yelled, resisted, who didn't trust anyone. She finally allowed herself to rest, not because she was forced, not because she had no choice, but because tonight she felt safe. And in that soft, quiet moment, I promised myself I would protect this peace she found, even if I had to fight the whole world for it. Chapter 7, the day she called me home. The morning sunlight slipped gently through the curtains, painting soft gold on the walls. She was still asleep. Peaceful, calm, curled up like someone who finally found a place where nightmares couldn't follow. For a moment I forgot the past. Forgot how she fought me. Forgot how she feared me. All I saw was the girl she could have been, if life had been kinder. When she finally opened her eyes, she blinked slowly, adjusting to the light. Her voice was soft, still heavy with sleep. "Did I sleep the whole night?" "Yes," I smiled. "And you didn't even wake up once?" She sat up, pulling the blanket around her shoulders, almost embarrassed. "I haven't slept like that in years," she whispered. Something warm fluttered inside me. I didn't show it, but I felt it. She looked at me for a long moment. Not with fear, not with anger. With gratitude, a kind that comes only from someone who's been broken too long. Later that day, she followed me around the house. Not clinging, not scared, just present. She helped in the kitchen. She arranged the bookshelf. She even asked me where I bought one of the wall frames. Small things. But for her, they were big steps. At one point, she stood beside me while I was fixing a cabinet door. She hesitated, then spoke. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." She took a breath, her fingers fidgeting. "Why did you buy me?" I didn't answer immediately. Not because I didn't know, but because the truth was heavy. "I didn't want anyone else to hurt you," I finally said. "I saw the way he talked about you, the way he treated you like something he could trade. I knew if I didn't take you, someone worse might." Her eyes softened. "And marrying me? That was so you'd have a name, a place, protection. Not because I wanted to own you." She swallowed hard, voice trembling. "No one has ever protected me without wanting something back." "I don't want anything from you," I whispered. "Just live, heal, be free." She looked away quickly, but not before I saw her eyes glisten. That evening, something unexpected happened. She came to me willingly, sat beside me on the balcony as the sun lowered behind the buildings. Wind touched her hair, making it dance around her face. She wasn't tense, wasn't afraid, wasn't distant. She was comfortable. For the first time. After several quiet minutes, she spoke. Very softly, almost shyly. "Can I tell you something strange?" "Go ahead." She took a deep breath. "When I'm here with you, I don't feel like I'm trapped." She paused. "I feel like I'm home." My chest tightened. She had no idea what those words meant. She leaned her head on my shoulder, slowly, carefully, as if testing whether I would pull away. I didn't. She settled there, her voice barely a whisper. "Thank you for not being like them." The sunset glowed around us like a warm halo. For the first time, She wasn't the girl who was sold. She wasn't the girl who fought me. She wasn't the girl who feared every shadow. She was the girl who finally found peace, a place, a choice, a beginning. And in that quiet moment, she chose me. Not because she had to, not because she was forced, but because in her heart, I was the person who made her feel safe.